I split my life into two very different modes: plan like a leader and then obey like a soldier. And here's what changed when I started to treat obedience as the gateway to freedom. For years, I was this classic high-functioning mess. On paper, I was this Stanford-trained medical doctor that worked in AI and did all this really cool stuff. But privately, I kept ghosting my own plans, and I would set these lofty goals, things that I really wanted to achieve. And then I'd create these routines, and I kept falling through on them. And then everything changed when I realized that I actually needed to abandon what I thought was my freedom and be obedient. But instead of surrendering my obedience to a religion or an institution, I realized I had to surrender to myself. So I want to explain this reframe that I had that seriously helped me, and it took me a long time to figure out. So I don't know if this happened to you, but you make some kind of a goal or a plan and it sounds great and you're excited, you're stoked, motivation's high, and then some time passes and then rubber meets the road, and maybe it's the next day and you're supposed to do that thing, but it just seems like the last thing that you ever want to do falls by the wayside because you have these excuses of why you can't do it, and then you find yourself right back to where you started. And it's debilitating. Like, if you really sit to think about it, as I have, you get this unsettled feeling of not being secure. Like, you can't even trust yourself, and you're not somebody that you can count on. And then your future starts to look less sure, and you lose confidence in your ability to achieve your goals because you know deep down that the only person that's going to get you there is you. And if you can't rely on you, then you have a serious problem. So I had this problem for a very long time, and I still struggle with it. But one of the things that helped me to figure this out was that I can put myself into leader mode, and then I can put myself into soldier mode. And leader mode is fun. This is the place where you can dream of your goals and you can plan things out, and it's more of like the strategy stuff. Now, not everybody's like this, but I love this part. This comes really naturally to me. And the actual doing part is harder because I have to turn off a part of my brain that I really like to use, which is the thinking and the planning part. I've got to turn it off, and I've just got to do what needs to be done. Maybe that sounds like you just have to do it and there's no real trick or nothing involved here, but actually it's a bit different. So I allow myself to go into leader mode, but it has to be in certain parts of the day or of the week. So for me, it's the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I have a period of time where I plan my next day. And every week I will plan my week, or every month. You see how it goes. But you have these areas of time where you plan, and then I can fully turn on my leader mode, and then I can strategize, and I empower myself during those times. And once I do that and it's done, I turn that mode off. And the reason why I do that is I honor and I trust that part of myself that made the plans. So for example, today I am honoring and trusting past Josh that made plans last night for today. And that helps me to develop this relationship with my past self. And that relationship grows over time, that I honor and I trust past Josh. Past Josh is the ruler of today's Josh. And so on the one hand, it feels uncomfortable that I am doing things that I'm not terribly comfortable with, that it's annoying and I've got to shut my dopamine center off. But on the other hand, it's incredibly freeing that I don't have to think about all this. I don't have to try to fight these battles every day and fight with my dopamine cravings and should I be scrolling or should I be doing this or should I be exercising? It's all done. It's all planned for me. I just have to go through it. And then the other part of this, so we got past Josh that I'm trusting and I'm honoring, and then future Josh I'm loving, because I know that what I'm doing right now is difficult and uncomfortable as it might be. It's going to go to the future that I want for myself in the future. And so my whole day all of a sudden turns from this back and forth fighting and conflict in my head to actually these acts of trust and acts of love to my past self and my present self, respectively. So let me share one concrete way that I use to do this just to get started, because once you get started, you can get the hang of it and it becomes a lot easier. But getting started is really tough, at least it was for me, because there's this mountain of stuff that I know I need to do, and if you try to do too much at once, you fall flat on your face. I did it for weeks, for months, for maybe years in some cases, and you realize you don't actually make any progress if you try to bite off too much at once. And so, concrete example of what I've done that has worked really well for me, and it's a pretty solid place to start. So instead of, this is what I used to do, instead of designing this intricate calendar on Sunday and going, right, these are all the wonderful, magnificent things that I'm going to be accomplishing in the next week, and all the routines and all that, instead of doing all that, I just make my alarm clock God for the day, where I will say, these are the 4 or 5 things that I'm going to do, and I put them into my alarm. because I can make all sorts of cool stuff on the calendar, and then I'll be working or doing something, and then I look up, and before I know it, it's 2 o'clock, and I've been doing good stuff, but like 2 things have lapsed in my calendar. And then it just makes me lose faith in my calendar, where I go, yeah, but, you know, the calendar said to do this at 11 o'clock, but I'm really on a roll with this other thing, so I'm going to keep going. And then it's not something that I really respect anymore. So what I found helps is to use the phone, and I have my alarms. So concretely, what I'll do is at 7:30, I will put an alarm to plan for the next day, period, no questions. And so when that alarm goes off, I'll stop what I'm doing, and I will just plan for the next day. And it might not take me very long. It might take me just a few minutes, but I put everything in the calendar that I need for the next day, and that way it's done. And then at 8 o'clock, I'll get another alarm, and it tells me to meditate. Now, it could be different for other people, but for me, unplugging at the end of the day and just meditating for 20 minutes does a lot for my mental well-being. And then the final thing that I do in the day is at about 8:25, I have an alarm that tells me to read my goals and to write in my journal. And I even have a little message in there that says, I think it says, love you, buddy. It's just nice to get a message from my past self of like, this is why you're doing it. You're doing it to love yourself because this is good for you. Yeah, maybe that's a little weird, but that's something that I do that has helped me a lot to develop a better relationship with myself. So if you enjoyed this video about leader mode and soldier mode, I've got another video that talks about mind programs that you can be running. And there's a really simple way that you can start to dive in and find out what programs you're actually running. So it takes this very complex topic and it makes it very concrete. So check out this video if you're interested in learning about that.